circumstances over the last 9 months. They've pivoted creatively to still deliver these services, even under these limiting circumstances, especially with resources so limited. I'd also like to thank my excellent supervisors and our community partners who are willing to take a chance on this grant and who continue to work with us throughout this process. And then also I'd like to thank the administrative staff here at the county, as well as the board, for all of the heartfelt support during these stressful last few months. Marianne Kaba is an activist who once said that nothing that is worthwhile is done alone. And so for me, as somebody who's been working with this litigation fight and all of these issues with compliance and termination and all these kinds of things, the only thing worse than having had to undergo that fight would be to have to undergo it alone. And I have not had to do that. And so I wish to extend my sincere gratitude to everybody who's been so supportive. I've not felt alone in this battle, and that's been makes all the difference. So thank you all. Are there any questions or clarifications I can offer?
I think just to start with, as our sustainability coordinator, Taylor, the person left out of your commentary that deserves recognition for the work that's occurred is you. Taylor Van Winkle has done a tremendous effort. The grant proposal put forward was innovative, creative, collaborative, built on a process that included community voice and concern, and did things to address climate resiliency and economic mobility in our community. And I'm super proud of that work. And I know we're lucky to have you in Kalamazoo County. And I think, I'll speak for myself, and hopefully the board will be in support. We have to commit to climate justice work. There's a lot of challenges in front of us as a local community, as a country. But when we can be resilient as a community together, that's how we get through the times ahead. So I know with excellent professionals like you, we've got a chance at that, right?
Thank you very much for saying so.
Absolutely. My question for you, we're in the Court of Appeals right now. Are we simply appealing the matter of jurisdiction at this time? And if we do not prevail on the matter of jurisdiction, is there do we have another avenue? Is there another court in which we could have filed? Do we have to exhaust this appeal before potentially pursuing another legal avenue, if that's available to us? I know we're collaborating with pro bono attorneys at this time, but I don't know if there's insight on what options we might have, because I'm certainly interested in defending the excellent work that we did and the benefit it can have to our community.
Excellent question. Lou, I can speak to this, or if you would like to. Okay. So there's a couple options. So right now it's an appeal just on jurisdiction. So if it gets what's called remanded or sent back down to the lower courts, then it'll get decided on merits. They'll actually say, well, does your case have any merits? They hadn't even got to that point with the Supreme Court decision saying that all grant-related terminations have to go to the federal claims court. That was the decision that influenced the dismissal. So that specific move is related to grant agreements or grant contracts, saying that they all have to go to the federal claims court. So currently, litigation is appealing that, stating on the arguments that we are talking about procedural violations from the Americans Procedural Act and the APA, or the secondary argument of constitutional violations, which is that canceling $2 billion in grants all at once is a violation of Congress's power by the executive branch, as opposed to just canceling contracts with the intention of reinstating them, which is an administrative, which is within an administrative authority of the EPA to do, but they had no intention of reinstating them. So that's the second argument. So they're going and saying, well, these have nothing to do with the grant contracts themselves. You should hear the case. So that's where we are right now. Should it get dinged again and not progress further in the courts, in the federal district courts. There is the federal claims court option, which is discussing the violation of the contract itself. So the grounds that we were offered termination on are not within the contract. They are not viable options that are in the agreement between us and the EPA. So that's the argument we would take to the federal claims court, that they terminated our contracts outside of the allowable termination parameters. And then in that case, we would be able to potentially get reinstatement, or more likely just damages. So getting those reimbursable costs, that outstanding $179,000. That would be the award in that case. The appeals process, there's no telling how long that will take. But the federal claims court has the statute on that allows us to take our contract breach issue to them within 6 years. So that's the outlying farthest we would have to hold those costs. So
Thank you for your deep understanding of the legal issues.
I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah, that's excellent. And,
Yeah.
you know, as we hear that, you know, for the community to recognize this is not just us fighting for the climate resilience work that we earned through our grant process, but about really defending the constitutional structure and rule of law in our country. And, you know, we may indeed see it take time to get through appeals court, because I hear there's quite a bit of litigation going on these days. So, Vice Chair.
I'd like to thank the chair for her comments. I'm in complete support of that. Thank you for all that you did. When you got that grant, I was like, how in the heck? Like, that was amazing. That amount of dollars, and Congress appropriated it. And I feel that regardless of where you stand on the political spectrum, there is a separation of powers, and Congress, the legislative branch, appropriates dollars. And I 100% of continuing this fight in the judicial branch. My question has to concern with, we eliminated one of our subcontractors in August based on the uncertainty of the funding structure. Does that take us out of compliance of the current grant?
So it does take us out of compliance, but because the costs to remain in compliance in totality are so substantial, then keeping one part of compliance is not as it's not as effective. So when at the end of Q3, most of that time, as the first 3 quarters of the grant, were allocated to program development. So most of those milestones were programmatic in nature and could be handled by staff. But Q4 is when construction and contracts would begin, and those are substantial costs that would have taken the final few months, the last quarter, and totaled several $1 million worth of work and contract securing. So since those contracts were not ever in process or active, then when we first made the decision in May, it made sense to remain 100% in compliance by keeping those 2 contracts active with just staff. But once we hit Q4, the substantial millions of dollars that would have to go into keeping it in compliance were not, the risk was not there. The risk was too high at that point, with the court case in suspension. Well, not suspension, but without a favorable decision in our case, and at that point. So we could stay 5% in compliance by keeping the contract active, but not enough in compliance to
hiring our next health officer and director. I wanted to take a step back and just let you know how we got to the process that we have. So in doing some research, we did review past documents and see what did we do whenever we were looking to hire the former health officer director Rutherford in 2016. So we put forward a process that was very similar. We put together a search committee that is comprised of both administration and also of community partners. This time, the caveat there is we did extend the number of community partners that we had on the committee. So that was extended to make sure that we include all of our advisory councils that we have at the health department, representation from those chairs, as well as other community partners that have close ties to the work that we do at the health department. We posted the position for 30 days. The committee of 13 has been evaluating the 20 applications that we received. We narrowed that down to 6 applicants, which last week and this week, we're conducting round 1 interviews. Round 2 interviews will happen the first week of November, and those dates start to have little asterisks beside them because it's dependent on the top 3 candidates, their availability. But our intent is to have round 2 interviews happen on November 6th. What that will also do is incorporate a meet and greet with our HCS leadership and mid-managers. That is also a slightly different process than what we did in 2016. Previously in 2016, the top candidate was presented to that group. This time around, we decided to include a meet and greet for the top 3. That was actually after receiving feedback from some HCS staff members. So as I've been updating them on where we are in the process and what the process is, of course, soliciting, always open to feedback. And so receiving some feedback from them on the level of engagement there. We've also incorporated this time around a staff survey to HCS employees. And that's primarily so we can just get garner from them what it is that they're wanting to see or what they view as their values and priorities in public health concerns. And so at this point in time, we've had about 22% of the department replying. So we feel like we have some pretty good feedback from them, which that will be consolidated. It was an optional survey. It's an anonymous survey, but I'll be consolidating those results and getting that to the search committee as well for us to take into consideration as we go from round 1 to round 2 in that selection process. After we do round 2 interviews, we then will bring forward to the Board of Commissioners another update and provide who that selected candidate is. As you're aware, that is a board administrator appointment as well as a board appointment, and so we'll be bringing that forward. Our intent is that that would happen sometime at the end of November, beginning of December timeline. That's the timeline that we're working on, but of course, very much a lot of it's dependent on when we do our round 2 interviews and that availability, and then of course, also regularly scheduled board meetings. So that is the update that I have, and I welcome any questions that you may have for us.
Thank you, Deputy Administrator. The health officer is one of the positions appointed by the board. So the our corporation counsel, administrator and controller, and health officer are board appointment positions. And so the process with the prior appointment, the entire process was exhausted, and then the final candidate then presented to the board. Is there any other opportunity where a board will be engaged in this process? It's an appointment we make. It's just one of the few positions. The others with administrator and council, we are more deeply involved with. So I know we can look to past practice. I also know we're working to refine and improve on past practice as well. So you've given some consideration to that?
I think I was looking over here, but I think we're definitely open to receiving feedback on engagement.
Vice Chair.
Seeing as our chair's daytime job is very closely related to this, I would feel more comfortable if on the second round of interviews, I hate to do it because I really haven't asked her yet, but I feel more comfortable if Chair Strebs attended those interviews and give feedback on that, so we have some board perspective as well. I don't want to load the search committee with a bunch of commissioners, but I think having our chair there would probably be beneficial, at least on the second round of interviews.
I would be willing to participate. Commissioner Kistler.
Thank you, Chair. Could you clarify for me the special qualifications needed to legitimately be the health officer of a county? My thinking is colored by what went on in Ottawa County when they decided they were going to fire their health officer and just take somebody in the ranks and appoint them, and that didn't work out so good
Right.
because the state has to say their blessing, right?
Yes, thank you for actually bringing that up, and that wasn't included in the memo, but it should have been. But that is also a requirement that the state has to approve the appointment as well.
Thank you.
Any other thoughts from the commissioners? Vice Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you. Yes, I concur. I kind of wondered why we didn't really have somebody on that. This is a pretty important position. And I'd kind of like to see kind of where we're at with who these applicants are. Just maybe send out a list of the last 6 or something, and maybe some of their qualifications, and we can give you some feedback, maybe. Just a thought.
Deputy Administrator, when did you tell me your hope is for the second round of interviews?
The hope is second round would be November 6th. Of course, that will be dependent on the top three's availability. So we do wrap up round 1 this week, and the intent is to hopefully be able to reach out to them by the end of this week or early next week to secure that date, knowing that that's 2 weeks out.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Anything further? Commissioner Ray.
Thank you. And just a quick question, in regards to the meet and greet, is it possible to have it at a time where all HCS staff can be invited to the meet and greet and not just upper and middle management?
We can definitely look into that for sure. I think that's something I missed too. But I think what you're getting at is to see all 3 candidates. In the memo, it did outline that the top candidate would present to the full staff. But if the desire is to have the opportunity for all 3 candidates to be meet and greet, I don't know why I said it in that way, but to meet the 3 candidates, we can incorporate that.
I love that engagement and feedback from the staff. I think that gets them buy-in in their new leadership. It certainly couldn't hurt to do it, right? Thank you for that suggestion. All right, thank you very much, Deputy Administrator.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's go to item 9. A public hearing, item 2025-882, Green Development Ventures LLC Housing TIF Plan, public hearing. Come. The button with the person on it. There you got it.
Right,
There you go.
business. Good evening. Thank you, Chair, members of the Commission. Joe Augustinelli, Michigan Growth Advisors. We're the consultants on this project. Just wanted to come up and say thank you for the board's consideration. We're really excited about continuing the work to whittle away at the county's sizable housing shortage with bringing these projects forward. This is a single-family home development in Ashnamo Township, 39 single-family homes, and we're here to answer any technical questions you might have, as well as Brian Farkas with the developer is also here if the board has any questions. So we appreciate your consideration this evening.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from the board? Commissioner Kistler.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, for my edification, if nobody else's, what are the income designations required, and what percent of the 39 units will be available to people without, the huge income?
Right. So required by, let me clarify your question, required by statute, or what is the project proposing? Because those are not
the
necessarily
project.
two things. Okay. So the project is 39 units. 31 of those would be market rate for sale. 8 would be income restricted at 100% AMI rents, which would be for a 3-bedroom home, 2,100 a month, and 4-bedroom home, brand new single family homes, 2,300 a month roughly.
And is it a rental operation or will there be some equity built?
So the homes will be, are you asking if they're rent to own type of things? No, so there'll be a typical, developer owned, rented by their wholly owned management company.
But the 31 out of 39 will be
for sale market rate.
For
Yep.
sale.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yep.
Vice Chair.
Sorry, and part of the recapture of that TIF district is for the difference between that $2,300 and $2,400, correct? That's recapturable.
The way the housing TIF program works is there's a calculation that the Michigan State Housing Development Authority produces that establishes what they call a control rent, and the difference between that number and the rent charged to your income qualified tenants is a TIF eligible activity that can be reimbursed over time with those TIF dollars. And yes, so this project, the eligible activities that would be funded, Macy went into a lot of detail last time, so I won't get completely into the weeds, but we're largely paying for the site infrastructure and site development, site preparation costs, and a small amount of that, it's called housing financing gap, which is tied to, again, that difference between the control rent and the rent charge.
And the housing financing gap runs out when the TIF runs out, correct? Or when it's no longer eligible to collect?
The gap portion is, in this case, we're proposing 11 years of income restrictions. So we'd be reimbursing those costs for 11 years. And then there's not enough TIF to pay for that and the infrastructure costs in that short a period of time. So the TIF will continue to capture past that 11-year point to reimburse those site and infrastructure costs.
Okay. With the addition of the walkable trail on it, I'm in favor of this. We're going to be doing a new TIF policy, our new brownfield policy that I think will alleviate some of Commissioner Gissler's concerns. So I'm in favor of this one, knowing that in the future we're going to refine this. So,
Commissioner Morales.
Thank you, Chair. I have a question. Have you all thought about implementing a community investment trust?
Community land trust?
Community investment trust.
I'm not familiar with that
CIT.
program.
So basically, it allows communities to directly invest in local real estate. Perry, who authored the Black Scorecard, talks about this so that specifically minorities who are at that 30 to 50% AMI can invest and actually afford projects like you're talking about. I'd like to see this moving forward because these are projects that I know my community are going to have a hard time affording. I don't want to see them come into a new development and rent, especially not at $2,200, with most of our constituents making between $15 and $20 an hour with a family of 4. So, as you know, I'm not a fan. I supported the last project like this. I'm not a fan of going by just 9 units being available, because for me, even those 9 units aren't available to the majority of our constituents in the county. So I ask that you go back to your team and you guys research the CIT method and then come back with some other solutions.
Yeah, I would love to learn more. I'm not familiar with that program. I will touch on, the underlying issue with more deeply affordable in this program is a single family house generates about $4,000 a year of tax increment. So there's only so much TIF money to go around, so that taking the rents more deeply affordable doesn't change the cost of construction. And there's just not enough incentive there. In this program, alone. So layered with others, absolutely. But this program was really created for that 80 to 120 AMI price point, and that's, we've modeled a couple hundred of these around the state in lots of different taxing jurisdictions, and as you get more deeply affordable, the economics just don't work. But certainly, look, new tools. I'm not familiar with the one you just brought up. I would love to dig into it. Maybe that's another way we can layer into these. But just wanted to provide that context.
Sure.
Yeah, and I understand you're limited with the state statute and what you can and cannot do. There is a requirement, I think that 20%, I think it's 15 or 20% of if you take that, those dollars have to be used for affordability from 80 to 120. Is that the correct number?
There's no percentage minimum in the
Oh,
statute.
there's no percentage minimum. Okay. Well, as we look for those affordability rates in the future, just so you know, I'm more in favor of using that for home ownership to try to figure out ways that whether it's down payment assistance, I don't know if that's even capturable or some sort of way so that we can get these people the 80 to 120 range, because that's what this is designed to do, to get them into sort of generational wealth so that they can own the property and sort of build up their equity. But yeah, I'm not going to let the perfect be the enemy of the good.
Yes. So I will say we did approach this project originally as we were trying to do a for sale affordable project here. Ultimately with the hope of pursuing the county's housing millage to fund that extra gap that is created. The underlying challenge with for sale affordable is that, again, the house costs what it costs to build, regardless of who's going to occupy it. And, if you're going to sell that house at an affordable price point at a significant loss to the builder, taking that loss and getting reimbursed over 25 years doesn't make any economic sense in a for-profit model. So the state has approved 41 of these housing TIF projects around the state so far. There have been 2 that are for sale affordable. Both were nonprofit developers. One was a Habitat deal and one was maybe ICCF in Grand Rapids. And so you don't see the for-profit development community doing for sale because, again, the economics don't work without an extra incentive also. So we've been working as a development team trying to figure out how to do for sale affordable in this using this tool. And the key is some other community entity needs to fund that gap, and perhaps they get paid back with the TIF dollars. That math works, but it doesn't work without that extra support. Yeah.
As this housing TIF really targets the 80 to 120 AMI, obviously you've heard from the board, and I'm sure it's a intention as you explore the economics, as much affordability as can be garnered. So here, we don't have any properties that hit to the 80. We're at 100 of the AMI. My question specifically beyond that commentary is the rental units. Will Michigan Growth Advisors be the rental manager, or have you identified a contract on who will be managing the properties?
Yeah, so just to be clear, Michigan Growth Advisors is a consulting firm. We're a subsidiary of Miller Johnson. We are not the developer on the project. We're just the consultants. Green Development Ventures is the developer. That's an Allen Edwin Homes subsidiary. And the rental properties will be managed by Copper Bay, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of Allen Edwin, based in Portage here. So they manage, Brian, help me out, 800 homes currently, and that portfolio is growing. So self-managed here locally in Portage.
Thank you. So now, I'll speak. I was recently at the Michigan Association of Counties Conference. Vice Chair and I both attended, and one of them was about who owns property in Michigan and the rise of for-profit corporations owning rental properties and the impact that has on the cost of the housing stock in general. So while it is a benefit to have additional housing units in the marketplace, projects that move forward, you know, you expressed how difficult it is to find the for sale, affordable for sale option in a for-profit model. We're exploring TIF and it's driving up additional corporate ownership of rental properties in the community. It is not really what I view as an inherent good for the community. Ownership is always preferred over rentership, but housing in general is a need. So I think there's room to refine and revise. I appreciate you being here for the dialogue. Any additional questions? All right, with that, we will close our public hearing. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to move to item 10, public comment. This is our first opportunity in this session. You may make contact with us by phone at 855-925-2801. Enter meeting code 10748. And then press *3 to join the queue. If you wish to speak during both public comment periods, you will have to press *3 again at any time after this first period has ended. So with this first opportunity, you have 3 minutes to address the board in a professional, respectful manner. Once you're recognized, whether on the phones or in person, please share your name and tell us where you're from. Is there anybody wishing to make public comment? Welcome. On the base, there's a little button with the person. There it is.
Thank you.
You got it.
My name is Michelle Davis. I'm the Executive Director at Housing Resources Incorporated. Thank you for allowing me to speak this evening, Chair Trebs, Administrator, Commissioners, and staff. On behalf of HRI and the people who desperately need your help to stay safe and warm this winter, we ask that you approve the winter shelter funding. People need your help. They desperately need your help, and some are dying on our streets. This funding provides for the very basic needs: a warm place to sleep and a connection to collaborative partners working together to provide housing solutions. I want to thank you for your efforts. We need abundant solutions, varied solutions. Please continue to do more. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to make comment? Welcome.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gwendolyn Hooker, Chair Straps, Vice Chair Taylor, Pro Tempo, Hepler, Administrative Catlin, and all of you lovely commissioners. My name is Gwendolyn Hooker. I'm a resident of Kalamazoo County, District 1, Northside. And I am here to actually tell you about 2 events that are coming up. Friday, we are having a mixer for Montine Wiley at Green Door Distillery. Many folks may remember this is the young man that was killed while he was working at security at Green Door. One of Hope to Navigation's former employees and a staunch advocate for gun violence. And so his mom is launching an initiative, and we are inviting the Kalamazoo county, city, friends, family, supporters at large to come out and find out about this initiative and support what his mom Tanika is doing. And so that's on Friday. It is from 4 to 9. It's at Green Door Distillery. And I have a flyer, of course. The other thing is our 10th Hope to Navigation's 10th annual Walk for the Voiceless is on Saturday, which is October the 25th. This is our walk to remember folks that have been lost due to overdose. And this, we know, is a prevalent problem. We know that the county has taken a very big stand on addressing that need. And Hope Through Navigation has been doing that for the last 10 years, really raising awareness about the problem of fentanyl poisoning in our community and really trying to provide support and services around them, around those issues, as well as empowering family members to remember the loved ones that they have lost due to overdose. And that is a walk to remember. It's October the 25th at 3:00 p.m. on the corner of North and Westnedge, which is, of course, the Tiny Houses of Hope location. And we would love for the community and you all to come out and support. We're going to have, it's our 10th annual, so we're going to do, we're going to do a few little things out there. We're always going to pass out Narcan, fentanyl testing strips. This is in collaboration with the Kalamazoo County Department of Health and Human Services. Y'all change y'all names so much I forget, but the people that help with that. And so want y'all to come out support. We're gonna have some cake, ice cream, some hot cocoa, all the things, and really just wanting to uplift and empower and educate and continue to raise awareness about the issue of opioid abuse in our county. And I believe that's all I have for today. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else? Seeing none. Administrator, do we have anyone online? Thank you. All right, we will end our first public comment. Move to item 11, entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
Chair, I move that we make a motion to vote on all consent agenda items in one time and be considered a consent agenda by the board.
Motion is made by Vice Chair Taylor, supported by Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler. Is there any further discussion? Commissioner Gisler.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Did we agree during the 4:00 meeting that one of the things on this agenda needed to be dealt with separately?
It was clarified what the item was, and so it did not need to be moved to non-consent.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for clarifying. All right, seeing no further discussion. All right, clerk, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLu,
Yes.
Commissioner Gisler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler,
Yes.
Commissioner Mazer,
Yes.
Commissioner Morales,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray, Chair Strebs,
Yes.
Vice Chair Taylor.
Yes.
9 yes.
The motion carries. All right. Flip through all of that. We'll move to item 12, our unfinished business and general orders. And we will now take discussion for item 2025-1334 to entertain a motion, request for approval of a retirement resolution amendment, section 16, memorializing the retirement pension and the retiree and active member benefit adjustments.
So moved. Support.
Motion is made by Vice Chair Taylor, supported by Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler. Is there any further discussion? Vice Chair.
This is huge. This is really, really big, and I'm pretty proud of this. So.
I'll just add to that, we're making an adjustment long overdue to our retirees, honoring our elders who really have built this community, colleagues that have served in county government and made a commitment, as well to current employees to bolster the retirement that they will enjoy in the future. And I know, there was robust discussion. I appreciate the community voices that help advocate and bring this forward for us and on behalf of the retirees. Seeing no further discussion, Commissioner Gisler.
Yes, just for clarification, this is an option to take care of the retirees other than what was recommended by the pension committee, which was just a check and move on.
Yeah, their recommendation was no adjustment. And what we're doing is offering a 0.75% adjustment for each year of retirement back to 2024, I think it is. And then also for current retirees, changing their multiplier from 2.0 to 2.1. And that is different than the recommendation from the Retirement Investment Committee. That's correct. Any further discussion? All right. With that, clerk, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner DeLu,
Yes.
Commissioner Gisler,
No.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler,
Yes.
Commissioner Mazer,
Yes.
Commissioner Morales,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Chair Strebs,
Yes.
Vice Chair Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler.
Yes.
You have 8 yes.
Thank you. That motion carries. All right. Brings us to the end. Unfinished business. We'll go to item 13, public comment. Second opportunity to address the board at the number stated previously. You can press *3 to join the queue. Once you're recognized, please share your name and where you're from. Is there anybody wishing to make public comment? Seeing none, is there anyone online? Thank you, Administrator. Okay. So we'll move to new business non-consent, item 2025-881. Resolution to adopt Green Development Ventures LLC Housing TIF Brownfield Plan. Can I see it so I can read it? Sorry. My computer is closed up, so it just didn't make it to my printed agenda. So first is a request for approval of Board of Commissioners to suspend our board bylaws. 2, to remove Vice Chair John Patrick Taylor. Well, now I got your middle name now, when you're really in trouble. From Integrated Service of Kalamazoo's board, and 3, to approve and appoint Commissioner Abigail Wheeler, no last name or no middle name listed, to the ISK board. I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler, supported by Commissioner Ray. Suspension of bylaws, removal of Vice Chair Taylor, and appointment of Commissioner Wheeler to the ISK board. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Gisler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler,
Yes.
Commissioner Mazer,
Yes.
Commissioner Morales,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Chair Strebs,
Yes.
Vice Chair Taylor,
Enthusiastic, yes.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLu.
Yes.
You have 9 yes.
Thank you. That motion carries. Thank you for Commissioner Wheeler for being willing to step up for that appointment. That's an important one. Okay. So now I'll go back to item 2025-881, resolution to adopt Green Development Ventures LLC Housing TIF Brownfield Plan. Motion made by Vice Chair Taylor, supported by Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler. Is there further discussion? Seeing none. Clerk, will you call a roll?
Excuse me, Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler,
Yes.
Commissioner Mazer,
Yes.
Commissioner Morales,
Abstain.
Commissioner Ray,
No.
Chair Strebs,
No.
Vice Chair Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLu,
Yes.
Commissioner Gisler.
Yes.
You have 6 yes.
Thank you. Council, I like direction. On abstention, does Commissioner need to assert the reason for abstention?
Madam Chair, yes, she does. But generally, that's when there's a conflict that exists. And here, I'm not sure that there is a conflict. There's nothing in your rules that requires that members vote on every item, and so they can abstain. Thank you,
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Morales. All right. With that, the motion carries. Let's go to item 2025-1264. Request to approve a resolution to establish the 2026 salary of the county clerk register of deeds. Motion made by Commissioner Wheeler, supported by Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler. Is there any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Mazer,
Yes.
Commissioner Morales,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Chair Strebs,
Yes.
Vice Chair Taylor.
As this will have a direct impact on me and my family, I will be abstaining.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLu. Yeah. Commissioner Gisler,
An enthusiastic yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler.
Also enthusiastic.
You have 8 yes.
Thank you. That motion carries, and congrats on the enthusiastic yeses to the clerk. All right, let's move next to item 2025-1159. Request for approval of the Kalamazoo County Housing Brownfield TIF policy. I'm sorry. Yes. I got backwards here a second. My apologies. Thank you so much. Okay, the next item is request for approval of budget position and creations. I entertain a motion. Motion made by Commissioner Ray, supported by Commissioner Wheeler. Is there any further discussion? This is the creation of 15 positions we heard discussed in our budget presentation at the Committee of the Whole, majority of which already have the job descriptions and will be ready to deploy for posting as soon as the budget is adopted. All right. Clerk, will you please call a roll?
Commissioner Morales,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Chair Strebs,
Yes.
Vice Chair Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLu,
Yes.
Commissioner Gisler.
Yes.
I see. Commissioner Mazer,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler.
Yes.
You have 9 yes.
Thank you. That motion carries. Here we go. Sorry, a long agenda to scroll back to the right spot. Okay. We'll move to item, this doesn't have numbers, LL, resolution to adopt Green Development Ventures LLC, the Housing TIF Brownfield Plan.
County housing problem.
I got
Madam
these
Chair.
all mixed around the wrong
No,
direction.
no, Madam Chair, you spoke correctly. The item that you're speaking to is item 2025-1159, and that is where you are in your agenda presently.
Thank you, Council. Item 2025-1159, request for approval of the Kalamazoo County Housing Brownfield TIF policy. All right, I got it stated correctly with support of the team. Thanks to the squad. Okay. With that, is there further discussion? Vice Chair.
Just this is much better than the previous one. I think they sought input, and I'm in support of this one.
All right, seeing no further discussion? Oh, thank you. I entertain a motion. Motion by Vice Chair Pro Tem. Support by Vice Chair Taylor. No further discussion? All right, clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Chair Strebs,
Yes.
Vice Chair Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLu, Commissioner Gisler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler,
Yes.
Commissioner Mazer,
Yes.
Commissioner Morales.
Yes.
We have 9 yes.
Thank you. That motion carries. That's why. My paper agenda and the digital agenda are in a different order. Now I get why I'm so confused. Okay. All right, I think we have cleared all of the items in new business non-consent. So let's move now to item 15, our annual meeting items. So first is item 2025-1268, request to approve the apportionment report. Motion made by Vice Chair Taylor, supported by Commissioner Wheeler. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Let's go to item 2025-1269, request to adopt the resolution to apportion ad valorem taxes. Motion made by Vice Chair Taylor, supported by Commissioner Wheeler. Any further discussion? Sure. Roll has been requested. Clerk, will you please call a roll?
Vice Chair Taylor,
Yeah.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLue.
Yeah.
Commissioner Gisler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler,
Yes.
Commissioner Mazer,
Yes.
Commissioner Morales,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Chair Strauss.
Yes.
You have 9 yes.
That motion carries. Of due diligence, I apologize to commissioners. I'm going to back us up to item 2025-1268. We just took that by voice vote, but the agenda does call for a roll call. So out of due diligence, I am going to call a roll for request for approval of the apportionment report. It was moved by Vice Chair Taylor, supported by Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler. Clerk, please call the roll.
Chair Strauss,
Yes.
Vice Chair Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLue.
Yeah.
Commissioner Gisler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler,
Yes.
Commissioner Mazer,
Yes.
Commissioner Morales,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray. 9 yes.
All right, that motion doubly passes. We got it. Okay. Let us now go to item 2025-1267. Request to approve resolution to adopt the 2026 budget for Kalamazoo County. Motion made by Commissioner Mazer, supported by Vice Chair Pro Tem. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Point of order.
Yes,
I need the chair to wake up.
thank you so much. My apologies.
No worries.
My apologies. That motion is made by Commissioner Morales and supported by Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler. Discussion.
Just really, sorry.
Vice Chair, yes.
Sorry, just really quick to clarify, this isn't solidifying our community grants portion of it. This is just solidifying the dollar amount for community grants, and we'll have a discussion in that in the future.
That is correct. Administration will confirm, as we discussed earlier. So we are apportioning the $400,000, but not specifically what it is directed towards. Commissioner Morales? No. Commissioner Gisler?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Could you identify how much of the new county building is included in this? Or is this budget include a good portion of that new county building? If not the construction, does it include the purchase of the McDonald's site?
No, we are within the current budget in which we enacted the purchase of the
Okay,
property.
so
We
that's
did
out
it.
of 25.
Yeah, this budget is from January 1st forward.
Okay.
Absolutely. All right, well, I'd just like to recognize again, as we did in the discussion earlier, but really just the tremendous effort that the budget process is on the entire administrative team, county departments, all of the partnership that involved. And really, my congratulations to Dr. Catlin for his leadership and stewardship through the budget process, for hearing feedback from the board, for always being flexible and nimble for us and finding a way to make it all work out in the end, which is a good thing. All right, seeing no further discussion, clerk, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLue,
Yes.
Commissioner Gisler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler,
Yes.
Commissioner Mazer,
Yes.
Commissioner Morales,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray, Chair Strabs,
Yes,
Vice Chair Taylor.
Yes.
We have 9 yes.
that motion carries. The budget's done. That's a sigh of relief, isn't it? All right, with that, we'll go to item 16, reports of the officers, bodies, administrator and controller. So we moved a lot of business again tonight, had a lot of information we gathered. I just end up always sort of in awe of the amount of work that it takes to move government forward. Just today, I had an opportunity to be in a couple of different spaces related to housing. I attended a housing plan development, corridor development session out at Cooper Township earlier today. I was in a listening session with the COC this afternoon as they're working on their strategic planning process related to housing. We had a lot of housing discussion focused this evening. It's been a busy time in the community. There's been many events and activities that are occurring. And I just continue to remain very hopeful, though I will get frustrated and discouraged at times, because I know that when people build community and work together, that we can solve problems, that we can build resilience, and that we can survive whatever comes before us. And I know that that's what Kalamazoo will do today and in the days in front of us. And with that, that's all I have this evening. Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Excuse me, potato chips. Yeah, I'm also in awe of what good government can do. Nowhere else in the country is there a defined benefit plan who is increased. It hasn't happened in a long time. Nowhere else in the country is there a defined benefit plan where we take active employees and increase their multiplier. We've done a lot of really innovative things that other governments aren't doing it. And we're doing it because we're collaborating. We're collaborating across political divides. We're collaborating across economic divides. We're really making sure that Kalamazoo County is a good place to, sorry, Jeff, but to live, work, and play. 15 new jobs were created tonight. Our court funding, our courts had come and asked for additional requests, additional dollars. We were able to find those dollars. Just the list goes on and on. How we're fighting for our environmental justice with our compliance. The things that we're doing now and the things that are going on behind the scenes. Administrator Catlin, Dr. Catlin, and I worked together to really help a problem that the land bank was going through, and we were able to solve that with input from the chair. There's a lot of messes that aren't seen that are fixed by Dr. Catlin before it even gets to us. So what we're able to do when we work together is way more than any one of us can do individually. So I just keep that in mind as we go home and we think, well, man, I really don't like the way, say, Monty said that, and I disagree with her on that, or Dale DeLue, or Jeff Gisler. But you know what? I go back home and I listen to think about it, and put it through my head. Like, what is their perspective? How do I put myself, or at best I can, into their shoes and try to understand where they're getting from and and it helps me be able to negotiate and come up with solutions where they're win-wins. And I think this board as a whole does that. We create win-wins. We don't look at a problem and say there's one side that's right and there's one side that's wrong. We come up with solutions. And I think that's what good government does. And so it's been an honor, and I've been proud to work with you guys. And Bo, if you're still sleeping, it's time for bed.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Vice Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for those comments. Tonight, we did what the most important thing this board does. That's create a budget that keeps everybody getting a paycheck and we keep the lights on and doors open. So to make Kalamazoo County a great place to live, work, and play. But it is a lot of hard work, and I appreciate the administration, his staff, our employees who work diligently keeping Kalamazoo County a safe place to be and great place to live. There's a lot going on. As you said, we've got a lot ahead of us, a lot of things that we need to get done, and I look forward to working with everybody. And I appreciate all of our county county commissioners who are working hard to get these jobs done and take care of our employees as well as our citizens and our businesses. We need to keep them in mind. Their work creates a lot of jobs and makes it helps us make this county what it is. Again, we need to keep in mind our police and our fire and our ambulance folks, our military folks out there keeping us safe every day and night. Priority one, and as Mr. Gissler would say, priority one. So priorities. So appreciate that. Want everybody to have a safe and good week ahead, and talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you. We'll take it now to Administrator Catlin.
All right, thank you, Chair, Vice Chair Pro Tem, Commissioners, audience. I have multiple updates to give on just a plethora of things, but first and foremost, I want to thank this body. All of you have been very supportive through this budget process, been very thoughtful and considerate. I'd like to thank all of our budget team. We under Ryan's leadership actually established a budget team, and that's why I think a lot of things went way more smoothly than in previous years, and got a lot more experience, or it provided a lot more experience to staff and finance to participate in the budget and own that process. So appreciate Director Post, Deputy Director Chakowski, and Assistant Director Wagner, as well as Accountant Marissa. They've been very, very diligent in their work and very competent, as well as obviously my two deputy administrators, Deputy Administrator Smith and Deputy Administrator Cole, have just been phenomenal. The elected officials have been very good to work with. All of our department heads have had a lot of involvement in the creation of this budget and provided sound input. And so my thanks go out to all of them, as well as obviously our administrative team. Dina and Monique do a lot of great work. They're still training back there, and our meetings run very smoothly as they continue to train and offload some of that work so that Dina can be more strategic in these meetings as well. So very much appreciate them to keep us moving forward in a orderly fashion. I wanted to share a couple updates. I say multiple updates, I guess, on some things that are going on. As you know, the Continuum of Care, we've endeavored in a partnership with them, the City of Kalamazoo, to provide winter solutions funding. And so they met on October 20th to make final funding determinations for the winter solutions RFP that went out. There were 4 organizations that they reviewed. One was HRI, one was Ministry with Community, another Dignity in Motion, and then Hope Through Navigation. And so while final funding, I don't know those yet, that'll be determined and presented by the COC, likely through a press release. Maybe it's a joint press release with us. We're waiting to hear back from them, but that information will go out, and then we know that that process will roll out a lot more smoothly than it has in previous years. So we're looking forward to that to ensure that there's needs are met with compassion and coordination. I want to inform you that I have received engagement from MLive, and so I'll be meeting with their director of news, local news from MLive on November 6th, alongside with other community leaders to learn more about their priorities and to share information about what we're doing in Kalamazoo County. So they reached out just to further that engagement. We've never actually met with the local news director, so it'll be a good opportunity for them to get to know us and share some of our priorities and further that connection and explore how we can keep our population more informed and connected to what we're doing. I wanted to highlight the HCS annual report. I know their report is very robust. Health Community Services has a lot going on, and especially in 2024. One of the things that they've done through some of the community services aspects with seniors of our area agency on aging, they delivered more than 50,000 meals and repaired more than 75 homes. So they participated and contributed to 75 home repair projects. They've collected over 500,000 pounds of hazardous waste and 84,000 pounds of unused medications to keep the community safe. Significant outreach to the Healthy Babies, Healthy Starts program, the Nurse Family Partnership, and WIC, all with which directly support maternal and child health. We can't forget our veterans. They're a staple of this community. They completed more than 3,300 appointments and placed over 9,400 calls for assistance, with an increase of 124% increase in benefits. And so that veterans millage is foundational to be able to provide those services. These are just numbers that really, tell a story of, I would say, dedication as performed by our, members of the Health and Community Services Department, and they're supported through funding, obviously, by the state, but also that's championed through this board. So they're forever grateful for that, and we appreciate that. There were 2 press releases that were published. One highlighting the housing millage allocations. And as you know, you all took board action on that. So I won't go into detail, but please read those, and I'm sure you'll see the news stories on that. One in particular, the next that was published was the Caregiver Resource Center grand opening. And so last week, the Area Agency on Aging celebrated the grand opening of a new Caregiver Resource Center at the Health and Community Services Department located on East Alcott Street. The new space serves as a one-stop hub for family and informal caregivers, offering professional navigation, educational workshops, peer support, and respite connections. The center embodies our county's commitment to supporting the backbone of our aging system, those who care for others. So we're excited about that partnership, and under the leadership of Division Manager Don Saldia, we're forever grateful for his support and his staff support. Just phenomenal work going on over there. I wanted to inform the community and the Board of Commissioners that through a partnership with our Buildings and Grounds Department and the Veterans Treatment Court at the county courts through the 8th District Court. Please mark your calendars for November 10th, Monday, November 10th, from 3 to 4 p.m. where the courts will host a Veterans Memorial unveiling in the Jury Assembly Room at the Charles A. Pratt Justice Center. The memorials, which were previously located at the Michigan Avenue Courthouse, have been respectfully relocated in that Jury Assembly Room to continue honoring and recognizing the service of and the sacrifice of our veterans in the community. This event will be open to the public, and I encourage everyone who's able to attend that. It so happens to be on the same day of our board leadership meeting, so I know I'll at least have 3 commissioners that I can drag over there before we start our meeting. There is another item in my email. Let me just scroll up and look for it. Yes, there is a ribbon cutting. Very exciting. So, and I will send this to the board. I don't know, you may have been copied on it, but I'll just send it in case. But Jill Bland at the Southwest Michigan First is planning and hosting on Friday, November 7th, a ribbon cutting for the 131 business interchange. And so we'll be meeting at, I don't know how to pronounce that. Bursa Lewis and Dickinson Park on 1924 Douglas Avenue. So there'll be a ceremony and ribbon cutting for that project. They're really plugging away, and it's an exciting project that we were able to secure state dollars for. And Jill has worked very tirelessly on that project, and so we're forever grateful from her as well. And then, finally, on a personal note, I know the last meeting I just lost it, didn't I? So, and it just is what it is. It's my sister. So, but I do want to express, I will say, a heartfelt appreciation to my colleagues. One of the things that they did, and that's why I have this ribbon on, is that they showed support last week in honor of those that are in those that are affected by, domestic violence, those that are undergoing that now or have been able to escape that, and those that have, lost their lives to it. And so I just want to say, to this board and my colleagues that your compassion following the loss of my sister and your recognition of all these individuals affected by domestic violence has meant more to me than words can ever express. It's truly an honor to serve this body, serve the constituents of Kalamazoo County, the visitors of Kalamazoo County, and then also service alongside my thoughtful colleagues with empathy and integrity. So really appreciate that, and continue to enjoy every day of my position, no matter how much you think that you all are on top of me. I really enjoy coming here. So we have good relationships. So I appreciate it. And that's all I have this evening. Happy to answer any questions if there are. Thank you.
Thank you, Administrator. Are there any questions? Commissioner Gisler?
Are those purple ribbons available?
I can check with Dina, and we'll get back to you.
Yeah, we know who really runs this operation. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Administrator. One thing I'll just mention briefly here, we touched on this briefly at board leadership, but here in item 16, there is also the call for report of the bodies of the board, and that is not something that we're really doing as a practice very often. So what we mean by that, those are all the different advisory boards, the authorities, different committee meetings that we're attending to. So I would just like to encourage commissioners occasionally to bring material back and just update us and the community what's happening. It's a lot of work. Commissioner Wheeler knows, and Commissioner DeLu on that board appointments committee to go through, to seat the bodies, to get them engaged. And so I want those bodies to know their work is also recognized and funnels back to the community and to the board. So if you could think through highlights that would be appropriate to share, those would be valued and appreciated. Okay, Administrator.
I apologize. I know folks are trying to get out of here. So one of the things that, if you'll indulge me for a second on the county fair. So I was able to speak with the team during our break between the cow and the regular meeting. We do have a little bit of clarification that I need to garner before we do move forward. What I understood was that the board desired to, and I'm just using the term request for proposals, but was to solicit engagement, around someone that would actually execute, run the fair. The county would just provide the budget. But on the other hand, we want to ensure that the thought wasn't to have staff plan that, develop a budget, and come back, because then there wouldn't really need to be necessarily, I would say, a request for proposals that would go out. Our staff could come up with the budget, that sort of thing. So I guess I kind of need direction on that. Or does the board desire to have someone externally run this? And I don't want to say by way of circumventing the fair board, they would still be involved. They would, participate in that engagement. But do we want someone else aside from the Parks Department running it, or do we desire or do we desire the public or the Parks Department rather to run that?
Vice Chair.
One, I don't think it's fair to our Parks Director to make him or to ask him to run it. And I don't think it's also fair to our community to tell them that we can't have a fair. So what I would like to see is, a 2-year plan is having the fair at our current county fairgrounds. Beyond that, I would like to see it move to a more agricultural area, more agricultural community. But we can't do that this year, or we definitely can't do that this year. We probably can't do that next year. To answer your question, I think we need an outside consultant or a request for interest for somebody to come in, give us what a fair budget is, show us what it's going to cost for 2 years or 1 year or whatever we have to do, however many year contract we have to get in with these people, with the vendors. But also 5 days, 4 or 5 days of rides, 4 or 5 days of food to supplement the 4-H fairgrounds, with success being an attendance rate of upwards of 40,000 people. So in order to do that, we would more than likely need an outside third party to administer that for a 2-year period of time. On top of that, which is probably separate, we're going to probably need commissioners and administration or somebody else to come up with, I'm gonna volunteer Lindy, but, to come up with an idea that how do we have a 3-year plan that we get the fair out of the county purview? So that's where I'm at.
Vice Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Chair. I kind of going along with what Commissioner Taylor or Vice Chair Taylor is saying, but it may be more efficient to have our fair director, Mr. Rakowitz, come up and possibly look at giving us some figures, but I think we need to be prepared to provide him some additional support, being staffing or employees. The time is now ticking and we need to move this ahead if we're going to complete this task. Like I said earlier, we can work to succeed or we can work to fail. Let's work to succeed. And if we can come up with a plan, I don't care who does it, to be honest, but I think we need to be proactive to provide staffing at an adequate level and look at how we can get volunteers in to help that. And then for this next year and the next year, and then hopefully we'll see how that works to moving that to a different location, Richland or Schoolcraft or Vicksburg or somewhere down that way out in the agricultural area. But I think for this next year, let's make this thing successful, showcase the kids that are young folks that are working to bring that and showcase it to the public that there's more than you get your hamburger from the frozen section of your grocery store. So I would be inclined to say I think our Parks Director could help us get that down the road, but I think we need to be prepared to provide him some additional help. And if necessary, if he feels that he needs somebody separate to do that, let's staff it the way it needs to get staffed. It's doable.
Commissioner Wheeler.
I concur with Vice Chair Taylor. Wow, say that 10 times fast. That we need third party.
I do have to say that 3 times fast a lot. It's hard. Commissioner Morales.
Yes, same. I just hate that it will be out of the this part of the county, because it just makes it harder for the most vulnerable districts to have an opportunity to experience that. So, yes, and let's do it quick, fast, in a hurry to give some relief to Mr. Rakowitz, please.
So hearing a support for somebody external to be sought?
I do, as long as we'll have to do another study.
Okay. Other Commissioner Mazer and then Commissioner Kistler.
I agree with Vice Chair Taylor.
Thank you, Chair. I'm not sure exactly what John Taylor said, but I'd like to throw out a possible consideration. Let's find a good fare somewhere and run buses to it. Go to Centerville.
So I think by consensus, there's direction to seek interest from an external party for management.
I appreciate that, Chair, and if I may, I just wanted to respond to Commissioner Morales's point about the most vulnerable portions of the community in transportation. There could be a part of the plan where we engage Metro, and there's a service that they could probably provide similar to what we've done. I'm not trying to put words in their mouth or commit them to anything, but we've engaged them on like the Pavilion Estates tornado disaster, and we can engage them as a component of that budget to see what it would cost if they would entice that idea. So, or rather, be amenable to that idea rather. So anyway, I'm just saying that could be a component, but for now in 2026, we would plan to coordinate that on the county fairgrounds and then later on. So I just wanted to make sure you were aware that we've already thought of that disparity. So thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Administrator. All right, anything? Okay, you're good? Okay. All right, let's go to Commissioner time. Commissioner Wheeler.
Thank you, Chair. Dr. Catlin, I also lost it last meeting, and don't be ashamed. It was warranted very much so, and I very much so appreciate you being vulnerable. It's hard to do, but it's really needed, considering the cause that you are backing. Thank you to everybody who worked on the budget. It's a lot, I know, and it's an endeavor, and it's approved now. So go home and sleep really soundly tonight. Thank you to this board. Like we've all been saying, it's a pleasure to work with each and every one of you. I will gladly kick off reporting back from bodies. For those of you who don't know, I sit with Discover Kalamazoo as well as the Youth and Amateur Sports Facility Authority as well. And we're moving right along when it comes to the RFP for construction, and then also picking the operator as well. So very quickly here, I'm sure Jane will come and speak to us about all of those different components. We're meeting, I feel like, 1 million times between now and November, and then a bunch in November as well. Kind of the process that they're going to take is they're also going to do site visits. So there's going to be a committee that's going to do site visits at similar facilities in the Midwest that aren't older than 5 years to kind of get the latest and greatest. So lots of really good work being done on that committee. I also sit with the Kalamazoo Public Arts Council, and they are always trying to garner more support, and they would love to see you at their meetings. They don't do a ton, but the work that they do is great, and really get some really good support from local artists, and so that is a great committee that I sit on, that I appreciate their time and energy. They will be looking for a local historian here very quickly, I believe at the end of the year. So if you know anybody who is interested, we will need a historian on that board. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Morales.
Thank you, Chair. As we saw, Brownfield came up, I'm on that board, and we have a lot of robust conversations surrounding what affordable housing looks like. I feel like at times I am outnumbered on that board with the lack of understanding, and then when I hear profit, I lose it. Like, we're not gonna get the profit, and then Taylor will be like, I understand, and I'm like, Taylor, don't agree with them. While I understand the need, I just don't want developments to sit like housing is sitting in District 1. And 80% is tough for a lot of folks, specifically with what is happening in our administration right now. We just saw a protest this weekend with a lot of folks from the state of Michigan that have lost their jobs, that has stable incomes in their home. Their incomes have gone from 2 to 1. And as they say, it's hitting the fan. It's hitting the fan for a lot of people. And we don't know what this is gonna look like for families come January or in 3 months when they can't pay their mortgages. I'm trying not to put that in the air, but it's been the reality for the last 3 months. Oh Lord, I had some good notes. Oh, here they go. So thanks again, Dr. Catlin, to agree with Vice Chair. He is like the ultimate fixer. Today in the midnight, I couldn't be here. He's like, what are your priorities? What do you want in the budget? And I'm like, this. He was like, oh, don't worry, we got that fixed. I'm like, all right, I'm good. So happy about the budget. I know that is very, very stressful. I'm glad we got to take care of the courts. I had several conversations with judges, and I'm like, what is an absolute? And they're looking at me like everything. I'm like, you want the cookies and milk, or you want cookies with no cream in it? Like, what are we doing? And so I'm glad we got to get them situated. Also with the, what did Zach work with? Land bank. It was on my brain. I'm glad we got the land bank situated, because there was some conversations specifically in Brownfield, that were like tearing at my spirit. Like some of the things that were being asked for the land bank, and I'm sitting and I'm fighting like they're part of the county. It's our duty to take care of the land bank. And then I hear people say, oh, we can't do that because it's about profit. And I think that's my struggle with a lot of things that we discuss on the board as we bring housing forward. I had a question today at work. Somebody was like, Monteith, in the fields that you work in education and in the county, what breaks your heart? And for me, it's broken systems and the fact that we can't fix them all. But I will say, as a testament to this board from my time on in 2021 until present, I think we do a very good job with how we heal our wounds, how we take care of our constituents. So if there's a wound, we actually put ointment on there to heal it. So when we take off that Band-Aid, the scab is not coming off with it. It's like that market, the scar is very minimal, and we're going on to the next thing. So proud of to be working with you all. And that's all I have. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Thank you, Commissioner Morales. Commissioner Mazer.
All right, first of all, thank you, Dr. Catlin and administration for all the work you did on the budget. You listened to us, and you reached out, and I really appreciate that. And also, I appreciate all of you. I'm so honored to be on this Board of Commissioners and serve with every single one of you. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Gessler.
Thank you, Chair. You're great, Kevin, and I'm not going to repeat what everybody else has said. John reminded me when I first ran for this position in 2010, he said to me when it looked like I was probably going to be elected, and I'm not sure he was a big fan of that, but he said, we're probably going to agree on more things than we disagree on. And that's definitely true. And I think that's true for everybody else sitting here. I've got some real bones to pick with many of you, but it's probably 80% that we agree, and we're trying to do the best we can for the county. And I think that's commendable on all of our parts. I noticed Mike and Tom sitting in the front row very patiently, and my no vote on the bump for the pensioners was only because I really have a high regard for the investment committee, and they, through their chair, Bob Salisbury, said, just write a check now for everybody that should have one. You can worry about how big a check it is depending on how long you've been retired. And I don't mess with the investment committee. If they say jump, I ask how high. So that was the nature of my no vote. It wasn't a no vote against pensioners at all. And I would make a suggestion that as we begin to deal with the grants, the community grant situation, that we somehow get at least some counsel from Cassie Bailey. She sat in as the main coordinator with the Senior Services Ad Hoc Council that Wendy and I sat on, and she has questions and documents that she gave to everybody that wanted to get into the pocket of the senior millage, and she could probably give us some good ideas on how to approach making sure that the people that say they're going to do something truly do something, because that came up frequently in our discussions. We said, well, these guys have been doing business with Area Agency on Aging for 10 years. What do? Oh, she said, let me tell you. And she opened up her spreadsheet, and she just had massive information that made me feel a lot more comfortable when we started allocating that money. And I would encourage you, just, ask her, don't dump it on her, but just ask her, could you offer some counsel? Let us see some of your documents that you asked the bidders for money to supply you with concerning their history of what they've done and that sort of thing. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner DeLue.
I'll start by getting under Monteith's skin here. I'm always about brevity, and lately I've been attending some township meetings, and they've reduced public comment to 1 time a night, not 2. That would speed things up tremendously.
Because you don't like it when I make suggestions, we cut things off. And apparently the administrator isn't as Dutch as I thought he was. He couldn't pronounce Versluis, but anyway. But I do want to thank you for your flexibility on the budget. I know I approached you a couple times, other people did, and you listened to people, and I appreciate the funding for the courts more than anything. And I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but the Animal Services Board, you can't believe that operation out there. And they're very pleased with what was in the budget for them tonight. And lastly, I don't want to be too partisan here, but we know Chair Stubbs is a Democrat. No. And it's only once every 2 years, the Kalamazoo County Democratic Party has a big gala. It's a Brown Todd Whoopi gala. And they give out very few awards, but they're very prestigious awards. And I nominated, I don't think it's strictly because of me, Chair Stubbs. And she received an award for the elected official of the year due to her passion and her dedication to this board and to the community. So it was actually a pretty big award. And so I just want everybody to know that well-deserved award, and happy to have you as chair of the Kalamazoo County Board. So thank you.
You're very kind. Thank you so much. With that, we are adjourned.